What's up, everyone? It's Will from Brews Breaks back with the final NFL prediction video, the AFC East. We're going to see if the Pats are legitimate contenders, if the Bills are fighting for a playoff spot, and what the hell is going on with the Jets and the Dolphins. So grab something to sip on, stick around for some card buys later on, and until then, let's get into it. Let's start with the Miami Dolphins, whom I'm not a fan of. I think things are falling apart down there, and it's sad to see because I like Mike McDaniels. He's a little quirky, but he seems like a cool coach. He has had the locker room, and players respect him. I think they're going to go 4-12. I think he might be losing the locker room, to be honest with you guys. And Tua, he's still going to put up some stats, and A-Chain is still extremely fast. And you still have Tyreek, you still have Waddle, but you lost Mostert and you lost Jonnu Smith. And when Mostert was on the field, he put up some solid numbers, but you lost that two-headed monster of the speed from the running back position. And you lost arguably one of the top tight ends in the league in Smith on a reception basis. So, he was dynamic for Tua. He was his get-out-of-jail-free card, essentially. Tyreek, there's been some turmoil in that locker room with Tyreek, and given his history, don't be surprised if there's some fallout mid-season or a phantom injury or something like that. And both Waddle and Tua are both concussion risks and high concussion risks to that. Their defense is meh. They play in Miami. That gives them a bonus because it's hot as freaking balls there. But overall, I just don't think they have enough. And I think that there are better teams in that division, and there is way too much talent across the board in the AFC in general, especially defensively. While speed kills, it's not killing anyone this year as far as Miami goes. So 4-12. As far as card buys go, Tua can still, there's still a market for Tua, and you can still get him on the relatively cheap situation. So you could get him for a short flip, depending. If I'm completely wrong, then yeah, absolutely get some Tua. A-Chain just doesn't have much of a market, even though he's a really good running back. His market's just really low. So, if you're an A-Chain fan, you could probably buy him pretty low. Otherwise, I'm pretty much avoiding them at all costs. Now for the Jets. Good old Jets doing Jets things. Being Jetsy. They got a good coach, I think. In my opinion, he's pretty decent. I love that they paired Fields with Wilson again. I think it's going to be really big for Fields. I think that Hall is good. That's where we are. I think defensively they will be good. They will be probably top half, if not top 12. I think that they're at that level, but they are the Jets. So, while Wilson's going to put up quietly some probably pretty outstanding numbers, and while Fields could have some form of a reclamation here in New York, they're 3-13, last in the division. I think that they just don't have enough, to be honest. They just don't have enough offensively to do it, and they're not consistent enough. And they'll do Jets things. So, for now, you can buy Fields relatively pretty low. It doesn't hurt to hold him because I think he has a pretty decently mid to high ceiling, especially long term. I think that Garrett Wilson is an absolute buy, especially if you can get a low serial number on him for anything worth, your budget, within your budget, definitely buy on Wilson. Everyone else, I'm fading everybody else on that team. So, good luck, Jets fans. Now for the Buffalo Bills. And I like Josh Allen. I think the Bills are absolutely respectable. It has been god-awful and sucked to watch some of the things that have happened to some of their players over the last couple of seasons. They've gone through a lot, with mass shootings and snowstorms that have killed people and stuff. Buffalo, and I have some friends from that area too, but Buffalo's gone through hell. And the one thing that they've been able to stand on is a solid football team with an MVP quarterback. That being said, I think they're taking a bit of a step back this year. And while I think McDermott's a good coach and Josh Allen is incredible, James Cook's still feeling disrespected. Keon Coleman, I think, is one of the top wide receivers, potentially one of the top wide receivers over the next couple of seasons. I think he's going to be incredible. I'm a big Keon Coleman fan. I like Dalton Kincaid. They lost some players on defense. There's just something about this team that I think is going to take a step back. And it's one of those things that I don't even think I can necessarily put my finger on it, like really pinpoint it. But I'm just not feeling they'll crush in the division for the most part. I just think that there's some other teams out there that are going to really do some damage to them. I think Josh Allen's going to ball out. He's going to put up some massive numbers, and they're just going to fall short defensively. To be honest, Bills fans, don't hate me. Like, I really do appreciate this team for what it is and for what they've done for the city and the camaraderie between the teams even. It's pretty incredible to see, and I fully respect Buffalo. I just really feel as though that they might take a step back this year. I could be wrong. I don't know. Like, whatever. I don't get paid to do this. That'd be great if I did get paid to do this, but I definitely don't get paid to do this. I'm fading the under. I mean, I'm buying on the under. I'm fading the over as far as their win-loss record goes. I think they're going to fight for a wild card spot. I think they're in the same situation that Chiefs are in right now, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. But as far as card plays go, like Josh Allen, if you can get him within your budget, why not? I think that dude is going to be a Hall of Famer someday. He is just so legit. Keon Coleman, I think, is an absolute buy, and he has a pretty large market as well. And then look at Dalton Kincaid, which you can get for basically nothing. I think I bought a absolutely gradable potential 10 Dalton Kincaid Optic Stars Hollow for $3.50. Just saying. So, like, I'm not saying there's no buys there, but I'm just saying, like, the Bills are on that kind of rocky surface right now. All right, call me biased all you want, but I think this team looks real. The New England Patriots have put so much into their roster and coaching staff that it is virtually impossible, barring injury, that they do not have a massive upside. I am smashing the over on their wins, their win-loss for DraftKings. Smashing it. I mean, it is virtually a no-brainer here, barring injury. I watch football a lot, and I am a massive fan. I will watch the Jets play the Browns. I do not care, as long as the Patriots are. I try to look at all of these moves off-season, draft-wise, trades, all these things objectively. And you have to take into effect that we currently have, while we might have a weak or weaker wide receiver room, Stefon Diggs got the all clear. You've added Kyle Williams, and he's learning from a player like Diggs. And currently, Bourne, I'm not so sure if Bourne is going to be on this team. If we get a shot, if we get a chance to get Terry McLaurin, game's over, man. Game is over. But for all intents and purposes right now, you got Kyle Williams learning from Steph Diggs, and Steph Diggs wants to teach him, which is amazing. You got TreVeyon Henderson paired with Ramondre Stevenson, and I absolutely think Henderson takes over as the RB1 very, very early on in this season. And he is a nightmare to deal with, especially as a blocking running back. You have Hunter Henry, who is a security blanket for him, and Austin Hooper, while he's on the PUP list, and I'm not necessarily sure why, he's a decent target as well. Keon Booty proved to have some cohesiveness with Drake Maye, and Pop Douglas is another one that could have an absolute breakout. He's a breakout candidate. There's a lot of B-level wide receivers on this team, which seems to be something that the Patriots have done for quite a long time. I mean, we've only had Randy Moss once, right? And Julian Edelman, by all accounts, and I love Julian Edelman, Wes Welker, and Troy Brown, they were never wide receiver ones, true wide receiver ones. And when you put somebody like Stefon Diggs on the team and you pair him with somebody like Kyle Williams, they can absolutely surprise some people. And we're just talking about the offense. Almost all of the money that they put on this team was on the defensive side of the ball. And when we have legitimate pass rushers, a legitimate tandem at cornerback. And you could say that our safety position is a little weak, but you still have Duggar and you still have Peppers, as long as Peppers can stay out of jail. Leave the coke at home. Just saying. Christian Gonzalez is going to get sacks coverage sacks. He will be on the number 1 receiver, or will double the number 1 receiver, and he'll be on the number 2 receiver. And he is legitimately a top 2 or 3 cornerback in this league, proven by the players in the top 100. So the Patriots, I think, are going to be 14-3, and they are going to challenge. Now, while they might not beat a team like the Ravens, and they might have trouble with a team like the Chargers or the Broncos just based on matchups, I think they run through the division. They will split with the Bills, and they will run through the rest of the division. And I think they're going to put a smacking on. They also have one of the weakest schedules in the NFL, if not the weakest schedule in the NFL, right? Top 3 weakest schedule in the NFL, I think. And a lot of people are picking them to go 10 or 12 wins. I'm just a little bit more optimistic. That's all. So overall, 14-3, they win the division. They might lose in the playoffs. But that's where I'm at. Call me a homer. I don't care. I think that Maye is an absolute buy. He's still cheap considering his upside and where he was drafted. Stefon Diggs is a bounce back candidate. Kyle Williams is an absolute buy. TreVeyon Henderson is an absolute buy. And Gonzo is another one, a defensive buy, a very rare defensive player buy. So it's my outlook on the Pats. Go Pats. 14-3. So I know this was controversial. And I know that people are not going to like a lot of what I say. If you don't, like, comment, subscribe below. I also talk about cards. It's not just about football. I'll talk about basketball when that comes too. Like, maybe I'll make some predictions in baseball when the playoffs come. But like, overall, like, we can engage. It's okay. We can disagree. It's totally fine. I gave some respect where respect was due, and I know I hurt some feelings, but that's okay. Overall recap, Patriots 14-3, Vrabel, stability, Maye is a problem. Like, he is going to be a problem for people. It's just the way it is, and that defense is going to be nasty. Top 3. The Bills 10-7, wild card potential. Depending on how things shake out, they could be top wild card. I mean, they don't suck. I'm just saying, but they're going to take a step back. The Dolphins have speed, but absolutely no stability. They're going to go 4-12, and then Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson, awesome, total upside. Only flickers of hope, though, 3-13. They'll be in some games. They'll cause some problems, but realistically, they're not going to win a lot of games. Let me know what you think. Are the Pats back? Am I crazy for thinking the Pats are back? Am I crazy for putting the Bills at 7 losses? I mean, they don't have an easy schedule, so think about that too. Who are you buying? Who are your playoff predictions? Who are you absolutely fading as far as cards go? Let me know down below. Again, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot. And until next time, keep sipping and ripping.